Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage Podcast with your host, Brett Bovin. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
What is up, guys? This is Brett Bovin, and this is a show not just for hunters, but all outdoorsmen alike. And welcome to the motherfucking electronic campfire. Now, before we kick things off into the real actual show, we get everything to them, we have a couple things we want to say here. We are not politically correct. We cover topics not just in hunting, but everything in society, and we speculate what's true and not true and discuss how we, the people, need to fix these problems that we face. Now, we have shows within the show. What I mean by that is on Sundays, we cover, it's a round table type segment. We can bring guests on, or it's just the four of us, whatever we want. And we talk about all variety of different topics that we face in hunting and outdoors as well. And Tuesday's show, we cover a specific state, and we bring a guest that lives and hunts in that state, and we discuss everything that we need to know about in the ins and outs about that state as well. So just to get a good hunting atmosphere of what's going on in that state. So we do a live show on Sundays and Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube page. Now, we love to conduct these live shows because we want to give everyone out there the opportunity to interact with us as well as the guest right there on the spot. So we encourage everyone to comment whatever you want to comment during our live show here, because then we'll see the comments there. We'll have fun with it, interacting with you guys during the show. And some we might even pop up here on the screen while we're having the live show as well. So we encourage everyone out there to comment whatever you want to comment, and we're excited about that. Another aspect of the show is we don't run ads. We don't run ads from certain companies. Now we have partnered with companies and we do our own type of ads. However, as I mentioned before, we're not politically correct. We have partners. Like I said, we have partners, but no matter what, we speak our minds and don't hold anything back. We will not be controlled in any way. We say what we want, basically. And we are unapologetic and unafraid of that. Like I said, we are tired of the fake woke cancel culture that we live in, shadow banning that we face every day. So we need more Americans to stand up to this fake leftist, communist culture that's being narrated out there these days. Another thing that we have here on the show, we have a saying. We have two sayings, really. First one is, put your quarter in a slot machine. What I simply mean by that is just to help share the show. That's all I ask of everybody out there. See someone walking down the street, or you're texting a buddy, hey, Whitetail Advantage Podcast, they do a live show. Like I said, we don't just cover topics in hunting. We also cover topics in the outdoors, elk hunting, moose hunting, everything. We'd love covering everything. Granted, we are more geared towards whitetails, but yes, we love to cover everything. So we're not just geared down towards that. So put your core in the slot machine, help share the show. So we ask everybody out there. As always, we want to say thank you to all our men and women in the military for their service. We are greatly appreciative for that, along with all the policemen, the firefighters, nurses, doctors, and corrections officer, everyone in public service. We want to say thank you for your service. We wouldn't be here without you guys. Now, do not forget, no excuses, just results. Now let's kick things over to the guys and let's really get this show on the road here. How's it going, guys? It's Sunday, February 2nd. We're excited to have Matt on from REK Broadheads. Now, before we officially, like I said, bring everyone on, I did mention that we were going to be doing basically our first giveaway. We're partnering up with Ambush snack bags. These things are freaking amazing. If you reach out to them on social media, on YouTube, as far as I know, they just started their YouTube page. So they don't have a lot of videos on there, but check them out on social media, on Instagram. But these things are freaking amazing. And they are like, let's just see if we can hear it. It is like dead silent. These things are amazing. So we're going to be doing a giveaway starting tomorrow. More details coming tomorrow with that. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, enough of me jibber jabbering. Let's bring everybody on here and let's have a great, awesome night. Johnny's going to be coming up, hopefully, but we don't know, and we won't miss him at all. So let's just have the fun night. How's it going, guys?
What's up?
Hey, Matt, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, crap.
Man, and everyone watching, that's an actual microphone next to Dave's mouth. It's not a purple flavored dildo. I'm sure that he knows.
No. Brett sent me one of his spares.
Yeah, I see one of my spares.
See, the actual dildo slides over it, and it illuminates and it glows, and I says, well, I guess for the show I'll do it, but it's kind of gay.
That's your one-eyed microphone.
It is, yeah.
We just started the show. Let's not get too graphic. Matt, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to shooting the breeze with you guys.
Oh man! Before we started the show, we were talking about fishing, right? We're talking about ice fishing.
Yeah.
Man, I need to get out ice fishing. I haven't ice fished since I was a kid. I know Dave's a big ice fisherman type of guy, and he's going to be taking me out there.
Yes, we are.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yep, I actually just got a new fish locator for us. So,
I'm so excited.
Yep.
Matt, I got to ask you real quick before we get into your background. Do you drive your truck on ice, like on the road, on the lake that's frozen over?
I have twice in my life. Don't know if I'll do it again, honestly. We've had pretty good ice this year, but I don't know. It's a lot of people do it, but it's the last 3 or 4 years we haven't had good ice. So
yeah, that's a fact.
My grandpa, when he took me when I was a kid to go ice fishing, he'd drive his truck on the ice out there. I'm like, why are we doing this? We're going to fall through the lake. And he's like, no, we're not going to fall through. And I'm like, it just takes that one time. And I don't know. Unless it's proven to me that ice is fucking like 20 feet deep or something. I don't know. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, it's big on Higgins Lake when we go. Me and my buddy Dan, we go for smelt fishing. Mm-hmm. Everybody drives out, but it's like 200 some feet deep too.
Yeah.
So you'll get 3 feet of ice on it, and everybody drives. Lake Mitchell, Cadillac, they do it up there a lot. They just drive on it.
Yes, it's insane. Anyways, Matt, can you give a little background about yourself, brother, for the people that might not know you?
Yeah. So I'm Matt Tagget. I'm 33 years old. I live in mid-Michigan, Frankenmuth, Michigan, St. Charles. REK's over in Frankenmuth. Been bow hunting since I was 11 years old or whatever it was. My dad and I own the company together. We launched REK in 2020 after 2 years of testing and development. We began this journey in 2018, went live in 2020, and started trickling them into retail stores in 21, 22. We put together a real serious dealer program, and we're having fun with it and trying to create the most kick-ass broadheads we can and just keep the ball rolling here.
Where did the idea come from?
My dad and I love to bow hunt. That's what we live to do. Him and I hit the road in the fall, and we travel the whole country going all over the place. And we've shot every broadhead on the market. We've shot them all. And there's a lot of good broadheads out there, but there's a lot of just complete junk broadheads out there as well. And there's a lot of crazy marketing gimmicks that sell a lot of junk broadheads. And we got sick of shooting some certain heads that just didn't perform. Literally, I remember the day we were shooting a pack of broadheads, and I won't mention the name, but all 3 of them we shot into a foam target. The blades fell off them, and these were like supposed to be some big hyped up broadhead. This is just cool. And we knew we could do better. My dad had worked in manufacturing for over 40 years now at this point, and he's retired from his manufacturing job and works full time with REK now. But we knew we could do something better, and we wanted to build something here in America and something that we could trust and then bring it to the public.
Nice.
No, I agree.
Squatch, how long? You're basically the first one that really introduced me here to REK. How long have you been working with REK now?
A little bit over a year. I've been with them. I met them through Quentin, who's a friend of mine, and they had the guys on one night, and I applied for the field staff position and got some heads, and they threw me on. They took a chance with the old Squatch, and
Desperate.
yeah. Well, no, I don't know if it was desperate. I was desperate. But
I'm just
no. But they work good. I shoot the FX4s. I shot a nice little 8-pointer this year with it, and he succumbed to the shot 20, 25 yards. He was down. So
Very nice.
when I got on with you guys, I said, I think you guys should get on board, try them out, and we talked to REK, and they said, sure, we'd like to be part, and it's a good deal, man. Like I said, it's stuff we use, and Dave, like, Dave's like his kind of stuff. He's been around a while like me, and I told him about the FX4s, and I said, try them out. They're really accurate. They fly great. I was a slick trick guy. I shot slick tricks for years. Before that, I was a Magnus guy. I shot Magnus Buzzcut, Magnus Stingers. Nothing against anybody, but I like to use stuff I'm endorsing, and it's a good product. It really is. They're very tough, very durable. They fly great, man. And I actually do the commercial for our show for REK. So.
Yeah, we're gonna be running we have a commercial that we started now, and REK is in there, and Squatch does REK, and granted, Squatch is gonna be leaving here in the next like 20 minutes. We're not sad about it, but we're kind of happy about it. So we're gonna deal with it. He's got some work to do, so he needs to get his beauty rest.
Yeah,
and that'll probably take 20 years for that to happen, if anything.
There's not enough for us to make me a beauty anymore.
No, there's not.
No, there's not enough.
Oh, it's a turd. It's still a turd. Anyways, Matt, let me ask you this question: which out of all your broadheads, which one's your favorite?
The HXP. I've always been a big mechanical guy. I carry all of them in my quiver. But really, I just like that big giant cut and massive blood trail. The FX4 is hard to beat because it's just a durable little head. The blood trails are fair. They're not, but I just get so used to shooting those expandables where they're just dumping blood everywhere, and it's hard to beat that. So the HXP is my go-to. And we've been testing some different variations of heads that we're looking to launch here in the future. So there's a different variation that's kind of my favorite at the moment that I'm not going to talk a whole lot about, but there's some cool stuff coming down the pipe. So
cool.
Some hybrid stuff.
Yeah, we're looking at that. A lot of people are requesting a 3-blade expandable. One thing we're really working hard towards is a clipless design. The mechanical, something that is a lot more user friendly. If you guys are familiar with our expandables right now, they have the spring retention collar on there, which it's a really nice system because what it does is it puts a spring load on the blades and it gives you a just massive slap cut on entry. So our HXP is a 2.25 inch expandable, but on entry we're seeing wounds near 3 inches on a lot of animals. But it is a small little mechanism, and it's kind of difficult for people to put together that maybe can't see the greatest or have fat fingers like myself, Yep. So we're working on. We're probably not going to get rid of that model just because that slap cut is really beneficial, but we're looking to make it a little more user friendly as well.
Yeah, I got squat fingers too. It's hard.
Comment here, Justin Cromwell. I've used Swacker and Rage. Both had issues opening. He goes on to state, so I went back to fixed.
Yeah, that's probably, one of the biggest turnoffs you hear of mechanical broadheads in general across the board is people have had a bad experience with mechanicals not opening and stuff like that. And I can honestly sit right here and tell you I've not had a single complaint of a REK not opening. That was the biggest thing for us when designing this head is we wanted to make sure it did not fail. Like it had to open. I don't care. Like that's the number one thing. Or as this thing has to open. So that's that retainer spring lock collar there. It takes 3.8 pounds of force. What happens is actually on impact, there's little wings. If you look at a picture of the REK that push back on impact, 3.8 pounds of force breaks that tab off and deploys the blades. And unless there's some sort of obstruction, some dirt somehow gets in there or something like that, or maybe you're reusing the broadhead, didn't clean it off, it has to open. It just the way it's designed, it has to open on impact.
Now, personally, Magnus has always been my type of broadhead to go to because I've always been a fixed guy.
Mm-hmm.
Once these guys brought me with REK, the REK's creeping up to me. I mean, everyone has like their favorite go-to equipment or brand, whatever that case may be, and everyone just kind of falls back on whatever the case they're most comfortable with or what their go-to type of or training basically. And there was a couple of times, so when I go out in the woods and when it's like a deer that I'm like after just to get meat, then I'm going to try on the new broadhead where it's like, all right, I want to see how this goes. I can't tell you how many times I sat out in the woods with my REK broadhead and nothing came across. And I was like, man, I really wanted to freaking shoot something with these to really get my feeling on it, my personal self. But I've shot these things at targets, and these things are freaking amazing. And so, like I said, I'm not a big mechanical guy. I love fixed blade broadheads, and they're creeping up. They're right there. And I know Squatch had problems with Magnus before, and he switched to REK.
Yeah. I had an issue with them back in the day. But like I said, I've always been more of a fixed guy myself. I've dibbed and dabbed with mechanicals, and like Dave and I were talking about, hopefully for turkey, we're going to shoot the HXPs because it's got that wide cutting diameter on a turkey. And Dave, I think, is still on board with me. I think we're taking the recurves out this year.
We are.
Oh, nice.
Try to kill a turkey.
Yes, we are.
Recurves. So, we're looking forward to using that. I'm really excited, and I like the compactness of the HXP in flight. I've shot them. I mean, I've shot them at targets just to test them out, see how they do. I did a demonstration even shooting through a frozen rib cage of a deer, and I had the arrow shooting through that and busting a balloon on the other side. And believe it or not, about 7 shots through it, it was still razor sharp, and that's hitting bone. They were closing back up. The FX4 was pushing right through it and staying sharp as a razor blade. So, it's you got to make the best shot possible. You don't want to be tracking a deer forever. You want the deer not to suffer. You want it to go down quick. And we take this shit seriously when it comes to shooting a quality broadhead. I mean, the big guy there behind me, he died to an old Thunderhead. That's what I used to shoot. Nice. I mean, that's usually it's aluminum arrow XX78, but technology's come a long way. I mean, I remember when it was rockets. When rockets came out, they were punch cutters, rocket heads. Yep. I sold them. They had a little O-ring on them. It was just forget it. It was a disaster. So I just went with what I know. Good solid fixed broadhead kills them dead. And like I said, it punched through that 8-pointer. It was 135, 40-pound deer. No problem. Right down into the ground. And I mean, it knocked through ribs and everything when I shot. So,
yeah, I think my biggest problem with expandables that I've had, and I bought probably at least tested about everything on the market.
Yeah.
And my biggest concern that I found with them is their durability.
Mm-hmm.
The blades will break off after one use. The ferrules will break. Mm-hmm. The tips will bend to pretty much where after that first shot, you killed that deer, but you just spent $60 on a set of broadheads, and you're done. You got to buy new ones. Mm-hmm. And the blade quality was crap, to be honest. Yep. Very thin. That's why I decided I was going to try the FX4's blade thicknesses are, I think, identical to Slick Tricks.
Yeah,
they're very thick, heavy blades that you can resharpen. As long as they're not cracked or broken off, you can touch them up and keep using them. And that's, I look for more durability for penetration and being able to keep using them. I don't want to spend, $50-$60 every year on broadheads.
Yeah. Well, like Matt will tell you also, the nice thing about REK that turned me on to them too is you can buy replacement blades.
Exactly.
You
Not
can
everybody does that.
When you order your broadheads, order a set of replacement blades, because this way, if you want to shoot your actual, broadhead into your foam target, guys, it dulls them out. You should be able to cut a rubber band stretched between your fingers with just being able to pass that broadhead through there without really pushing on it.
Yeah.
And that's like tendons in a deer, veins, your arteries in a deer. So, if you're going to shoot what you're shooting, practice with it and put the replacement blades on, and you're ready to go for hunting season. But that was one of the major things I liked about the mechanical side of your guys' product too, that you could buy replacement heads, and another nice thing about REK, sorry, I'm being your sales pitchman here for everything, but it was a nice thing to see that you could buy single packs. If you wanted to try a certain single pack.
Yes. Nobody does that.
Yeah. And we just started doing that too. That's we had so many people asking us for that. Yep. And I get it. When somebody's, broadheads are a funny thing because people are pretty hesitant to switch from a broadhead they've used for years and has worked just fine for them until they have an issue, until they wound an animal or something like that. They're willing to maybe go out and try the new heads, or if you're somebody like myself that likes to always try the new things, I'm always tinkering with whatever, but, so we had so many people asking for an individual head because they don't want to break down and spend, $50 on a 3-pack. They didn't know if they were going to like them. Yeah. And so we started selling them individually, and more times than not, I see them people come back and buy the 3-packs or a couple 3-packs because they realized they liked them. But, when back to blades, when we were designing these things, that was big for us to across the whole lineup there to have a 39,000 thick blade on all of our heads, because, and that was one of our complaints. And, back when we were designing this thing, shooting other brands, is that the blades were just so flimsy. I mean, some of the blades on broadheads, they're 25 thousandths. I think 32 thousandths is the most common. We wanted a 39 thousandths thick blade, something that was going to hold up a little better. I mean, if you hit something hard enough, they're still going to shear it. Yeah. We do our cement block challenges, stuff like that. I mean, you're never, the problem here is, you've got to build a broadhead as strong as you can, but you have to keep it at 100 grain because that's kind of the base. That's the most common. And then, you do 125.
That's hard.
But you can only add so much structural support to a broadhead without going overweight. So that's the battle everybody's trying to, figure out the best design that's going to be the strongest, but also stay within weight. So that's hard. But we're able to do it, with we don't have a bunch of flashy cutouts like some of the other ferrules on the market have, but it's just a system that's pretty durable and it works really good. It's got a thick blade, and we really toyed with the hardness as well.
Yes, they do, Dan.
Yeah, they do, Daniel.
Yep,
that's my buddy.
Feet per second.
That's my buddy, Dan.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we toyed with the hardness a lot on these things too, to where they'll bend quite a bit before they actually break a blade, because the way we look at it is you want it hard enough to where it's not just going to bend super easily, but if it hits something hard, it's not just going to shear off the blade, because a bent blade, it still cuts the way we look at it.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, definitely.
There was a question here by Daniel. That's why we stopped there for a second. He asked, do they work well with crossbows? That was what the question that was popped up.
Yep, we rate them to 450 feet per second. That's what we've tested them to. And
that's all of them across the board? Across
the board, yep. And even that FX4, surprisingly, for a fixed head, flies really dang good at speeds. It's that's probably the best compliment we get on the FX4. It's a stout, beefy little head, but just the flight characteristics of that thing. I mean, you see it all the time. Everybody claims their fixed head flies like a field point, right?
No, they don't.
That's not the truth.
No, they don't.
And in even ours, I would say, I don't know the percentage, but in the upper 80 to 90% of people shooting it tell me it flies true to their field points. But there is always going to be a few people that likely have the wrong spine arrow or a bad tune or something of that they're throwing them wherever. But the FX4, even our dealers tell us, man, this thing flies like a dog.
What I like about your broadheads too is they're very well made. They're very quiet when you shoot them at decibel level. When you let that arrow fly,
you don't hear
that whistle. And the other thing is they're affordable. We're all working men here. I bust my ass, and make my money. And I've looked at some of the other companies that are out there, and I'm like, I'm a nice guy. I'm not going to mention names, but whew, man, $150 for 3 arrow broadheads. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not spending that.
That's crazy.
I don't care if it's, unless they're the Rambo ones, like Rambo had when you got the explosive. Because I really want something like that for next year.
Yeah, and then I think we're getting into a whole different category of broadheads, because now we're talking about tool steel. It's totally single bevel, double bevel tool steel, which is of course way more expensive, but and that's fine. You want to shoot 600, 700 grain arrows, but for whitetail deer, you really don't need that. You need a quality broadhead.
Yeah,
is your biggest advantage.
Yeah.
Hey, Squatch, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're a hardworking man, do you think you should do this every 2 weeks then?
Oh my God.
What's every 2 weeks? Working with you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't want you to cry.
His face is already getting red.
He's already red.
Yeah, or orange.
Don't go picking on me, because you know what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You'll know. You'll find out.
Man, I want to ask a question. For someone that has had bad experiences with, I know you guys offer more than just fit. You also offer fixed blade broadheads.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name those ones real quick?
So we actually just discontinued our FXD. That was the 2-blade expandable or fixed head that was able to be interchanged into an expandable. We did away with that system. It just never really took off. But we have the FX4 right now. That's the 4-blade fixed. It's an 1.125" main blade, a 3/4 inch bleeder. It's got a really nice tapered back blade angle on it, so it penetrates really well. And that's in 100 and 125 grain.
So someone that's had bad experiences with fixed blade broadheads, what would you say to someone that's looking at trying to get back into it, or they came across your website and they're looking at like, oh, they offer fixed blade broadheads and mechanicals. What would you say to that person that's like, you know what, give us a try, you're not going to regret it? What would you say to that person?
For somebody that's had issues with fixed blades in the past, you're saying?
Like fixed, like with mechanical, I mean.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's probably the biggest thing. It always seems to be the expandables that people had issues with, and it leaves a bad taste in their mouth, and they're always, after that they go to fixed heads and they never want to come back to expandables. So we have this conversation a lot with people. It just comes down to the end of the day when I just try to break down our design. It's so simple, the way that the blades move up and down, they function within the ferrule that, like we were talking a little bit ago about when those wings impact, 3.8 pounds of force deploys those blades. And it literally is fail proof. Like, this thing has to open. And, it's a rear deploy. It's, I pretty much just have to tell people, give us a chance, because, they work. They straight up work. And I get it. A lot of people have shot expandables and not had luck with them, but we wanted to put faith back in the expandable broadhead. And you'll see us post about that every now and again. That was kind of when we first launched one of our taglines, building faith back in the expandable broadhead, because it seemed like for so many years, people were just, they were just tired of expandables. And, at the end of the day though, broadheads are a very funny market. And I tell people that the best broadhead is the one that hits its mark, so, you can use any broadhead in the market, and you center punch them in both lungs. they're going to die. And it's about when you put a bad shot on an animal, when a quality broadhead really does its work. And, when you really see the benefits of a good broadhead, and then the durability, being able to use them again is again, the quality of the broadhead. And that was big for us to have these made in the USA.
Yes.
You see a lot of these broadhead companies get really big. They get bought up by one of the holding companies, and they ship everything to China, and quality goes downhill. I've heard of dealers receiving broadheads in the package, they're already falling apart before they even put them on the shelf. So That's something we did never want to compromise was quality. You know, we literally sit down and before we package them up, we spend, I don't know, 30 seconds looking at every head. Like we examine each and every head before these things get packaged up to make sure everything looks good. I mean, it's maybe not the fastest way to do things, but we know that when you screw one of these REKs on the end of your arrow, like we have looked these over, we've assembled these ourselves here in America. They were manufactured in America. Like we take a lot of pride in that. We know that, somebody could be drawn back on the bull of a lifetime. Somebody could be out in New Mexico that spent, $10,000 on an elk hunt, waited years to draw the tag, and they come to full draw on that big elk. I mean, we're kind of the first impact. That's we want to have a quality product. So we take that we don't take it lightly, I guess.
Right.
You and I we were talking off air, and you were trying to become a conservation officer here in the state of Michigan. It sounded like as well as me. So being an officer, attention to detail is very key. And it sounds like very few places and very few companies, they say they pay attention to the details, but it sounds like you're actually paying attention to the details and putting it hands-on and basically in your hand. Like, all right, everything's up to what my par is. All right, this is good to go on the market. And if it doesn't, scrap it. Let's kick it loose and get something new.
Yeah, and let's be honest. The bigger your company gets, or any company gets, it's harder to navigate the quality control. It's harder to look at each individual product when you're shipping more products than the year before. So it's but it's something that we're just not willing to negotiate on. And that's also the other thing we talk about, price of broadheads. It's really hard to compete with a Chinese manufactured broadhead because these guys they're making these things for pennies on the dollar, and we're making them here in America, and it costs us quite a bit to make these heads. It really does, but we know they're of high quality, and we're able to control everything in house. I mean, we put our hands on everything, and it's just, again, it's not negotiable for us to source these things over to China where they're putting them together, and who knows what kind of quality we're getting. If that's the case, we shouldn't even be in business, because that's not what we're here to do. It's just sell broadheads. We're here to offer an experience.
Right. And it's American made.
Exactly.
Right, it's American made product.
And people are paying for that because of
quality.
I
don't want to buy something Chinese and that half-ass shit. Sorry.
When you see me disappear, I was going to get my arrows out of my quiver. So that's the FX4.
There's the 4s.
So anybody that's curious, if you're listening to this on the radio or Spotify or whatever, I'm showing the broadheads. You'll have to go online and look them up. But that's
go
the
on
FX4.
YouTube.
Look at that chisel tip.
Yeah. That's what turned me on to it.
That is bone-splitting devastation right there, guys.
Yeah.
And then you carry the same tip on the HXP right there, and that's the mechanical. And when that opens up, I'm trying to get a better shot for you. When that opens up, hold on.
He's technologically
illiterate. That is, that's. I'm not technology illiterate, you dick. I'm freaking trying to show it to a little camera on here.
Brett's all like, he's like,
yeah, I'm 50 fucking years old. What do you want from me? So anyway, these, like I said though, that is so streamlined. It flies great, guys. And you see the way those tabs stick out. When that hits that animal, it pushes, it rear deploys those backwards, and those little spring tabs, you can't really see it in my shot, but that's what holds that all together.
So do those have retention?
Yeah.
Where you can squeeze?
Yeah, you can take the bottom of that blade and kind of pull it, and it'll snap back. So it's got a spring load on it. Yep.
What my question is you get a lot of the expandable 2 blades where you'll get some nasty deflections when it busts through ribs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like you hit straight on, and that sucker will hit that, and because the blades lock, they'll hit the rib, snap, and then your arrow goes upwards, downwards, or whatever. And those seem to have like give to them.
Well, once they deploy, the spring breaks, and you kind of do fall into that fixed position. But that chisel tip does a pretty good job of clearing the way. I mean, obviously that's a 2 1/4 inch cut, so it's a little bigger than the tip, but it they seem to stay pretty, on path, I guess. The way we look at it, I know there is some bone avoiding heads out there now, and
I'm not. I'm not. I know what you're talking about. They're big. One of them's a real big one. But
and I'm not sure. I mean, everybody has their own opinion on that. Our take on it is we would rather go straight through that bone than around it, I suppose. But,
I agree.
It is flex.
And I think partly the reason why a lot of the manufacturers try to do that, to where when it hits the ribs it collapses, is because their material is not solid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're trying to protect either the head, the ferrule, or the blades because they're not durable, I guess you would say.
Yep.
Matt, there's a question here from Daniel. What's the HXP selling for? I'm interested. I shoot Rage, but I'd be willing to try these.
Yeah, I've been trying to go do it. Get rid of Rage, brother.
Anywhere from $54.99 to $59.99, and that is a 3-pack.
And you use the code Whitetail. I mean, I can't remember what's the code now.
WA15.
Yep, WA15.
You broke it. Yep, that's what it was.
So what I wanted to make a point here, and Matt, I'm just, maybe if I'm wrong or right, but God forbid, so let's just say that doesn't open, right? Let's just say that doesn't open. You see those blades the way they are? Even if you punch through a set of lungs, hold on, you're the same width. You're the same width as the fixed blade.
Yep.
Just about.
Yeah,
so,
right about an inch.
So even if this doesn't open, let's just say it doesn't open, but it opens. I can tell you they open. Even if that was to hit an animal and just stay in that kind of orientation, you're still doing damage. You're doing as much damage as you would with the fixed blade. And so that's a little peace of mind, because a lot of broadheads fold up forward. And if they go through or something keeps them trapped down, they're not cutting when they go in. Yeah. This is cutting no matter what. And that's why you get that slap cut also, Matt, because that's already cutting. As that starts to hit, that's already cutting, and then it's pushing back and opening the rest of the way. Yep. Right. And you get that big cut. Now, I'm telling the guy that makes the broadheads how his broadheads work.
Yeah. In case you didn't know, Matt, that's how they work.
Matt, in case you didn't know.
No, that's what I like to hear. Honestly, that's
and it's totally opposite of a lot of the fold back style.
It is,
that were really popular. That, in my opinion, are kinetic energy killers.
Yeah, like an over the top style that you really don't get much of an entry when they open.
Yeah, and if you do anything with the shoulder, you just, all that energy is sucked right into that broadhead opening up and trying to penetrate the fold.
Well, and also if you take a hard quartering shot with an over the top style head, we've done a lot of testing on that, because we actually thought about, we designed over the top style heads and looked at both, and we really stuck with rear deploy because they just work better.
Yeah.
And and over the top, as those blades come in on an angle and hit like that, here we are. They kind of push the arrow one way or the other on a hard quartering shot. So you're not going to stay on track if that deer's
Well, yeah, because you got 3 blades and they're basically at a different angle.
Yep.
So you're hard quartering, you're going to get one blade that opens before the other ones, and you're going to, like you said, it's going to steer it.
Exactly.
Yep.
The nice thing that I like, I keep both of those in the same quiver. Because I keep the FX4s and the HSPs. But I can tell you, when I shoot at the target, I don't have to touch my pins between the FX4 and the HSPs.
I will say I was shocked when I tested them out to, I think I shot them out to 50 compared to my slick tricks, and they're probably within a quarter of an inch of each other.
Yeah.
At 50, right dead center of the circle. So I don't even have to tune them.
No.
Yeah, we hear that a lot.
I don't have to tune them. So, yeah, that is nice. So now I know I can confidently just go out and I can shoot it and not have to worry about it.
And like I said, guys, this ain't no sales pitch just because Matt's on. I just went out. You saw me disappear for a second. I went right over to where I hang my bow up on the hook. I pulled them their arrows right out of my quiver. So I'm using them. I use them.
A couple of comments here that I've been going through is the first one from Bitterroot Rip Ear. Dang it, I'm so sorry, man. And he's gonna be a guest on our show too. I'm just a jackass.
Reaper, cancel.
Bitterroot Reaper. You're gonna be Bitterroot root beer, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, the root beer. Oh.
I'm not a bow hunter anymore, but that sounds like a really fair money for a 3-pack of broadheads.
It is.
It is.
Another one from Justin. Birthday is coming up. Figured out my present for my wife.
Yeah.
And real quick, my wife, she always asks me, like, what, your birthday's coming up or anniversary's coming up. What do you want? What do you want me to get you? I said, don't get me anything. I will give you a list and screenshots of what I want. If you're gonna buy me hunting stuff, this is the approved list of what I'd like, and I have to give it to her. That way, she can't deviate. Nothing, because I'm very particular of what I use in my hunting and my golf, and it's like, nope, I can't stray from this.
Now you already got the HXs, don't you, Brett?
Yeah, I have them.
And have you shot them?
No, because I only got one deer.
No, at a target. Because
Yes, I shot my target. Yeah.
When we go turkey hunting this year, that'd be
Yeah,
a really good broadhead.
Yeah.
That'd be a nasty slicer on a turkey, man.
So I'm gonna make a public service announcement to Mrs. Bowen. Mrs. Bowen, please do not buy anything for his birthday golf related, because we all know what golf is. And make sure you buy him a nice set of HXPs again for his deadly arrow killing skills. Thank you.
Perfect.
There's a question here for you, Squatch, from Justin. Is there a reason why you carry both in your quiver, Squatch?
Yes, there is a reason. Because I was testing out the product this year. I had all intentions of shooting a really nice. I got some fat does here, and like I said, I'm not a mechanical guy, but I did take the doubles out just to have a little bit different things. But when the buck came out, I was loaded with the FX4, and I let the buck have it with the FX4. Like I said, nothing against the HXP, just didn't have an opportunity to rise. And the other reason is sometimes small game comes through. If I got a turkey and it's fall turkey season, I really wanted to light one of them up with an HXP. So that's the reason why I carry both. But I also made sure they both flew the same. I didn't have any kind of issues with something flying, an inch shorter, lower, or, to the right or to the left. I made sure they were perfect.
So I was going to ask you, Squatch, what is the Forest Fide Tester?
That's to make you read it, to see that there was a mistake, to ask me about the flavors of the forest. So my plan worked. It worked. I spelled it wrong on purpose. Flavors of the forest. We're going to give them a quick shout out. If you guys don't use flavors of the forest on your food, you're just missing out, and you can't even follow me. Don't just get off my page. Don't even say you know me. Go buy some. Buy 15 bottles of it. It's the best out there.
Yeah.
Because I'm an idiot. Bitter rip.
Yeah, root beer. You can't even talk. You can talk about me.
Yeah. Widow whoop
He said
whoop.
it's okay. I can just call him Brian. I just wasn't sure. He did go on to say, he made a comment, when you're married 31 years, we buy our own quote unquote gifts and show the other what we give each other.
Swear to God, Bitterroot. My birthday was just the other day, so I asked my wife. I picked out 2 rifles, and I said either one, but I really want the Henry 4570 lever action. So my birthday went by a day or two, and I said, "How are you making out with my present?" She says, "Well, I tried to call the gun shop." I said, "You got to go down." I said, "Let me order it. Just let me order it." Okay, so I picked it out. I ordered it, and it's better that way.
Matt, question: where did the name REK come from?
Man, we get that question so much, and I still just don't have a good answer for it.
You want to wreck those deer?
Yeah, basically. I mean, so originally they were going to be tag broadheads. Like we went through, we had packaging design, we had stickers made, everything, all the artwork was done. Tag broadheads. Our last name's Tagget, so we said tag, whatever,
Yeah.
Well, there's a company out there called Archery Tag. You've probably seen it. It's got those big marshmallow tips, and you run around and shoot each other with a bow and arrow recurve, and
Nice.
it's like tag, you're it. Well, we got chatting with them about that because we're like, well, they have a trademark on, the word tag, and they wanted no part of being associated with a broadhead whatsoever. So we had to go back to the drawing board, and I'm like, man, I want something short and sweet that's different, kind of sticks. When you're trying to come up with a name for something, I don't know. I think I lost sleep over it, and I'm finally like, well, what do you want a broadhead to do? You want it to wreck whatever it hits, you know? Yeah. So we changed the wordage up a little bit, misspelled it, I suppose. I think it's actually like Australian slang for wreck, but that's what it means, is just to wreck whatever you hit. So
yep,
it kind of stuck.
What other names were you close outside of tag to calling inside wreck?
Tippy cow.
Shut the fuck up.
I think the one I was looking at was Blade with a Y. Can't really remember. I had a whole list of stuff written down at one point, but wreck was the one that stuck.
Wreck fits.
And okay. For anyone that's new watching at least this episode,
close your ears, Matt. You're gonna be.
I don't know. I love tippy cow. Okay, and for instance, if you love rum shada, it's very similar in texture and consistency and stuff like that. It's and these two, I hate my team here.
How many guys have we had on this show that are actually guests that go, yeah, I know what tippy cow and rum shada is?
How many guys have we had on the show said, holy crap, I got hammered off my ass drinking tippy cow last night.
You're not supposed to get hammered off it. It's just a nice, relaxing. It's basically melted down ice cream. Okay, and I spent $80 on 4 bottles.
Look at Matt's face right now.
Matt,
I'm staring at 4 bottles of bourbon right now.
Yeah, he is ashamed to be on this show right now.
Matt, I'd just like to apologize in advance.
Our host, we are sorry. Don't hold us against us.
We're not the tippy cow kind.
Yeah, we don't golf either.
Yeah, I don't hand in my man card for that shit.
Oh boy,
man! I hope you have a great team around you, because I've surrounded myself with just a weird team, and I don't know how to do this every day. You should see the group text. If you saw our group text, oh my gosh!
Don't ever look at our group text.
It is not good.
Trust me, Brett don't either.
No, he doesn't. It's like maybe he'll come in 2 hours after we've had 2 hours of chatting, and he'll just be like, oh yeah, oh ha ha, oh, and it's like, where were you?
Yeah,
or I was out shopping for tippy cow. I was busy.
Yeah,
we're up at 5 and 4:30 in the morning, texting each other, getting ready to go out in the stand. And we hear from Brent about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Hey, what'd you guys do today?
Dave will hit me up on a group chat. He hit me up yesterday morning. What was it, 4:30?
Yeah.
He's like, it's morning, bitches. I'm like, what's up, bro?
Well, I knew you were going to be the only one up.
I'm up. I'm always up.
Matt, real quick, question. You hunt private or public? Let's dive in your own personal hunting style here.
I did a lot of public hunting back kind of right out of college when I was cut my teeth on out-of-state hunting and stuff like that. But now I'm fortunate enough to hunt mostly private everywhere we go. We hunt a lot of states across the Midwest and the Great Plains and stuff. But I'm always game to jump on some public land and go challenge myself. But I like doing a good mix of everything. Honestly, I like the challenge. I like hunting a groomed food plot with a box blind and a heater, and I like swinging out a tree in the saddle in the middle of some public whenever I get around to it. So it's do a little bit of everything.
Now, okay, Johnny, I'm gonna run this ad. Squatch, I know you're getting ready to leave, right?
Yeah, I'll say goodnight after you run the ad.
Okay, we'll take a quick little 2-minute break here, so we can run a little commercial ad that we made ourselves. So that's it. Go get yourself some more tippy cow or go to the bathroom real quick. Take 2 minutes.
Go get them.
Hey, go ahead and season your meat with something great. Try Flavors of the Forest raw garlic dust, made with only the finest ingredients for the finest wild game. Go ahead and use promo code Whitetail to save 15% on your next purchase. Go check them out.
Hey guys, how are you? It's the Squatch from the Whitetail Advantage. Hey, listen, have you guys tried REK Broadheads yet? Well, if you haven't, you're really missing out. I've been shooting REK now for over a year, and I'll tell you what, they fly straight, they fly true, and they're deadly, deadly on a deer. You can get the HXPs, you can get the FX4s, or you can just get the regular HPs. Guys, take it from the Squatch. The guys here at Whitetail Advantage, you can't go wrong with the REK Broadheads. If you tune in, you watch our show, you can use the discount code for REK, WA15. And that'll give you 15% off your purchase. And you guys tell them that the Whitetail Advantage and the Squatch sent you. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned. The show's going to be great. Squatch out.
Hey, you guys have a passion for the outdoors? You faith-based and love bow hunting? Go check out Bow Addicts. It's BOWADX. Genesis 27:3 says, take your bow and a quiver full of arrows. Go out into the open country to hunt some wild game for me. While we all love to go out and hunt wild game, we'd love to also wear it and represent what we believe. So go check out Bow Addicts and use promo code WHTADV10 to save 10% off your next purchase. That's WHTADV10 at checkout. Tell them the Whitetail Advantage crew sent you.
Squatch, it's been nice having you on the show, man.
All right, fellas. Well, due to my job, I'm going to have to go get in bed because I got a long night. So, Matt, thank you for, making a great product, and we'll be in touch, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great, man.
All right, boys.
All right, brother.
Gentlemen,
Thanks
take
much.
care. You guys have a good night, man.
You as well.
All right.
Okay, Kim, there we go. So, Matt, with you being here in Michigan, and David's going to be obviously he's here from Michigan as well, how do you think, personally, I'm curious to see your inside of it, of how the DNR is being ran, basically, in our state itself?
Oh, man, that's not great, would be my opinion. There's a lot of flaws in, I guess it depends what you're looking for. Personally, myself, I like chasing big deer. I like hunting big deer. And I think, who wouldn't want to kill a big deer is the way I look at it. But there's a lot of people that are content with shooting, year and a half old bucks. They're fine with that, which is okay. But I think the DNR could do some things to make opportunity better for folks like myself that like to hunt bigger deer, and to make it where I wouldn't have to travel all over the country to find mature deer. There's big deer in Michigan, but there's not a lot of them.
You got to hunt hard. Yep.
And it really, it depends on what county you're in, even I guess more so what neighborhood you're in, what your neighbors are doing and stuff like that, because a lot of landowners have taken upon themselves to kind of unite and form co-ops and stuff like that to try to better the deer herds, because the state hasn't stepped in and done anything. It's frustrating. I try not to get too hot on the topic, because I used to let it take the fun right out of it for me. I would get all pissed off when a neighbor killed a 2-year-old buck or something, and anymore I'm just kind of I don't let it bug me. I just go chase big deer in other states. But I do think there's a lot of potential here. I think that's what frustrates me, is we have the potential to have a lot of revenue from out-of-state hunters coming in, for one, and we have the deer herd to grow really big deer. We just we're missing the boat.
I'm curious to see the actual statistics behind it, where how many people come to our state to hunt, and see how much revenue that gets. Because I guarantee you that's got to be like under $20, because who wants to come hunt the state of Michigan when people in their own state here, we don't even want to hunt it, basically.
Yeah,
the genetics, everything's just going downhill. And especially after the fact that we had EHD hit back in 2010, 2012, and we just got back recovering from that. And then all of a sudden it hit hard again last year. And the fact that you have so many things going on with on just the genetic side of it, but then DNR doesn't even want to step in and help out. I get that we're not have no biology or major in biology or whitetail deer, whatever the case may be, and they say they do, but we're out there every day hunting these deer, and they don't even want to listen to our input. And we see these deer, we see the environment, we see everything that's going on firsthand, and they just look at us and laugh at us, basically, is my opinion.
Yeah. And it's Michigan's a very unique. We have a ton of deer. We have a ton of deer hunters. And I don't, to compare it to a state like Iowa, where there's Boone and Crockett deer being taken. Granted, it's the lower third of the state that has all the deer, but there's a lot more Boone and Crockett deer in the state of Iowa than there is in Michigan, I would argue. But it's I feel like our DNR is all about numbers and experience, being able just to get outdoors. They're not really concerned with the quality of the herd. They want to control the herd. They want to kill a lot of does, which I don't believe the general mentality of the Michigan hunter is really there. That the Michigan mentality is they've got to get their buck in general. They don't care if it's a 4-point or if they get the big 10-point in the neighborhood. They got to wrap their tag around a buck. And I don't know, there's a lot of different arguments about Michigan hunting. You hear people that want the 1 buck rule. There's people that want to earn a buck. There's a lot of different things. So I don't really know what the answer is. I guess I would like to see at least, the combo tag in Michigan, to me, seems to be a problem. We're never going to be Iowa because, so many properties in Michigan are so small. Everybody owns 10, 20 acres, and we have, 600,000-700,000 hunters, and every property is getting hunted. But that combo tag, even though most people don't fill the second portion of that buck tag, it's just the fact that the mentality, they know that they can kill any buck that comes in, then they can continue buck hunting throughout the whole year. So I know a 1 buck rule probably would never pass, but even if they just divided the combo tag up and said, okay, you get 1 bow tag and 1 gun tag. So if you want to shoot a 4-pointer on October 1st, first day of bow season, you're done until gun season. I don't know.
Good idea.
Well, we said it here before. I've personally said it myself. I think, especially with EHD hitting now, I think they need to take a step back and try new things. Look at the other states they set a good blueprint. For instance, Iowa, Kansas. I know Illinois for a fact. They got a great management system set up. Take the blueprint of what they set up and try to model it for our own deer here in Michigan. And what's to say that we can't try it out for 5 years and going to 1 buck? Because like you said perfectly, you can buy 2 buck tags and you get one. You're like, all right, great. I can go shoot another deer and just get more. Say I shot a deer and shot a buck. No, I think things need to be ran differently, and we don't need to do it forever. Things can change. Just run it for an X amount of time to fix the genetics that we have going on, because there's a lot of problems going on that side of it. And like I said, with the HD happening, just run it for 5 years where we do 1 buck tag.
Yeah.
And let it get back up to what it used to be. Heck, Dave, you know probably more about this than I do, but Michigan was the number 1 state when it came to most deer hunters per square mile. And then it was up till recently that Pennsylvania took it over.
Yep.
Because Michigan, our hunting numbers are just on a decline rapidly. And I would like to get pause because our good teammate Johnny's here. I'm going to bring him in here to this conversation. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
But to answer your question, Brett, about the non-hunters, I looked it up. They don't have 2024s released yet. But 2023, we only had 25,000 non-resident hunters.
See, I'm curious to match that to like Indiana or Ohio, but I just feel like that's just astronomically low.
Oh, it's way higher
it's
down
extremely low.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that's EHD is a big problem. We've been fortunate up here. We haven't really been hit by it, but from what I understand, Southern Michigan's been getting wiped out pretty good the last couple of years.
Allegan County was destroyed this year with EHD, where I hunt.
Allegan County,
Van
Buren County, Kalamazoo County, a lot of the Southwest region part.
Kent got hit.
Up to Kent County, up in Dave's neck of the woods. It got hit. It's
crazy
because areas.
All you hear about from the DNR is about CWD. Everything's CWD, CWD, and in my eyes, I mean, EHD, I'm not a biologist, but EHD kills way more deer than CWD does.
I agree.
It's seems like all the money and the research goes towards CWD when they really ought to be finding a cure about this EHD thing that just comes in and, you know, can wipe out 50-60% of a local herd, you know.
Yeah, and the other states got it figured out. The southern states, they know when they have an area that's starting to test positive for it, they spray for it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they did. And going through some of these comments here from Bitterroot Reaper, funny how much different management is from east to west. And real quick, Bitterroot is from out west. I feel like our elk management is kind of closer to whitetail management back east. There's another comment here. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Justin, 1 buck rule helped here in Indiana.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show, I think, I remember correctly, Illinois is a 1 buck state as well. And I have a buddy that came on the show. He's from Michigan and now lives in Illinois. If you look, he said this perfectly, and I say it all the time now. A deer that is 2 years old in Michigan is going to act like a 5-year-old. A deer that's 2 years old in Illinois is going to act like a 2-year-old. It's just weird how
it's true,
because we had the brown. The saying goes here in Michigan, especially
brown is
down.
Yeah, and you always hear this argument that I don't know what the percentage is offhand, but they say that a very small percentage of people even fill their second buck tag. So they say there's really no benefit of a 1 buck rule because nobody fills the second tag anyway. But I don't think they understand it's the mentality. It's the fact that people know they have that second tag, so they shoot the first buck they see because, I can keep hunting.
Yeah.
But
I looked it up one time. Let me see if I can find it.
I think it was like 26% of all hunters in Michigan will fill that second tag.
Yeah.
It was something extremely low like that.
Well, my question is, how many of them are taking just 2 bucks to say they shot 2 bucks? And damn it, I had something I was going to say. Fuck, no, I lost it. That's what it was. You're paying, so the prices, at least in my opinion, have increased. If you buy a combo tag, it's like $80. I'm just going to round it up to $80 for 2 bucks and a doe. You're buying 2 buck tags on the hope of shooting 2 giant bucks in the state of Michigan. In reality, that's very slim. You're maybe going to have the opportunity at 1. So I think it's a way for them to keep increasing to get them more money in their own pockets in Lansing, basically. And the question is that money really going in the right direction, going in the right locations that it needs to be? And in my opinion, I don't think the money that's being paid in these fees and tags are going in the right locations.
Yeah. So, I totally agree. So back, 2023, 75% of the hunters don't take an antlerless deer, and 17% take one.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I've shot 2 this year. How many? Brett, you shot 1?
I shot 2? 1.
Yep, you shot 1. Johnny, you shot what, 2?
I got 3 deer.
3 deer, that's right.
You're rubbing it in our face, don't you dick?
Hey, that Liberty hunt.
Yeah.
I got them and they were still stupid.
Yep.
Justin here in Indiana, it went from 60 to 90. That's just freaking insane. Yeah,
man.
And then Bitterroot out there in Idaho, brown is down here in Idaho too. It's just crazy to see that other people are having the same issue as well. Reduction is 40 per deer and have to shoot a doe first. I mean,
I think that should be something they should try to mess with here too.
Well, the difference is
in certain counties too, only certain counties, because like we talked to what's his name in Texas, where they got their shit together. You know,
oh, Sam, yeah,
because they got zones that are bow hunt only, and the bow hunt only zones where you can take 1 deer, they're pulling Pope and Youngs out like every year, like all the time.
That's what I'm saying. Why can't we look at other states and take the blueprint from what they're doing
Yeah.
and apply it to here in Michigan. And that's just not even here for Michigan. That's for every state out there.
Yeah.
Granted, we're not Idaho, so we don't have Western type of style hunting, but take just every conservation type blueprint that's out there in every state and figure out, all right, let's look at this little aspect of it and then see if we can apply it to ours and how we can improve it. And it's just sad to see that these people so-called have majors in biology, and they say they're smarter than us, but yet they might be doing it. They might not. I don't know. I'm assuming they're not.
And it also makes sense why our tag prices are going up too, because the non-residents aren't coming.
No,
they got to make up that funding from somewhere.
Right.
And then I watched that Michigan Out of Doors when they're talking about the DNR is shorthanded.
Matt, with you going out of state hunting in a lot of places, how are you feeling with other states and their setup compared to ours?
Oh man, honestly, this Michigan doesn't even feel like hunting to me anymore. It's I mean, granted, this year we had a really good season. We didn't kill a single buck in Michigan, but we had a couple good encounters with, and it's sad that this is what I have to relate to, but 2 and 3 year old bucks, which is a trophy deer in Michigan. A 3-year-old buck is a trophy here. At least when we hunt. But you go spend a week in Iowa, which is probably the pinnacle of it all, Iowa, Kansas. But I mean, you don't even look twice at a 3-year-old buck. It's like you see multiple 3-year-old bucks every day. So it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad, just the potential of it. And they're not even trying to do anything. They don't take anyone's suggestions and even, like you said, implement them for a few years, give them a try. But people would pay $300-$400 for an out-of-state tag to come hunt Michigan. We have so much public land. We have so much potential. It's frustrating, but like I said, I try not to let it bug me anymore, because it was sucking the fun right out of it for me. But
it does.
I like fishing in Michigan a lot. We have a great fishery, and I like spending my falls out of state.
I will say this though, I grew up in this state. I haven't had the opportunity yet to hunt out of state because of my own personal scheduling. Now people can say, "Oh, you have 2 days off. You can go down to Indiana." I just haven't had the opportunity and luxury to do it just yet until this year. I'm looking forward to going out of state and doing some more out of state hunts, but there's something about Michigan. Granted, it sucks. It has its ups and downs. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, this state, just the scenery of it is second to none, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Tennessee. I want to move to Tennessee. I believe that state's just beautiful, man. But there's something about Michigan. If I was to move down to Tennessee, there's something Michigan draws me to this place, because it's just in the fall. It's just amazing. I just can't say.
And I think that's why a lot of people get angry about it.
And you're right.
Because Michigan is a great place.
It's amazing. It has the opportunity to be the most, I mean, what was it? Ted Nugent or Fred Bears? I think it was Ted Nugent said Michigan has the opportunity to be the most lucrative, most amazing place to go hunt. And we have the opportunity to be what it used to be back in the day. And it's not going that direction.
Yeah. The 70s and 80s were the booner years here, man.
Yep.
And the UP was just loaded with them, man.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. The UP back in the day, even before I was born, was like the destination in the country. That's where everybody went deer hunting.
Yeah. It was like a mini Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just shot big tanks.
Mm-hmm.
But not anymore.
Well, that's like where deer camp started. If you for me growing up, my dad and his best friend, or my dad and my stepdad, they went up to the UP. That's where they went for deer camp for 2 weeks, and they go hunt. And I couldn't wait to go with them. But then I got older and I wasn't able to go with them. But that's where deer camp kind of started, was up in the UP and the outdoors. You're a vast region of just fucking nothing out there. It's just you in the woods. And I don't know.
Yeah, UP is different. Definitely a different experience if nobody's ever gone hunting in the UP.
Yeah.
And that was me and my buddy Dan when we used to go up every year. I looked forward to that every year out of any time, was going up to the UP and hunting.
I have 2 comments here I want to highlight real quick from Bitterroot. I will say IDFG does a decent job. Most units are managed for opportunity versus quality, but most guys have a good hunt here when they come. Well, that's good. I really do want to get out there. I have a buddy that wants me to get out to Idaho to hunt some elk, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
Another one, Justin. I've heard Traverse City is a big buck area. Justin,
it has its areas. Yes, it does.
Justin, I will say this. John and I met this guy. Let's just say you want to tune in to the episode with Trey. I can't remember the date, but for Trey, make sure to tune in for that.
We're gonna dive deep on that one.
We're gonna dive deep into that in that region of Michigan. Let's just say that. But anyways, Matt, it's getting close to the end of the night. I just want to say thank you so much for your product. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for having us on your team. With that being said, we have a couple rapid fire questions we want to shoot your way real quick before we let you go. Okay?
Let's do it.
All right. The first one is, besides hunting, do you have any other hobbies or interests?
Steelhead fishing. My fiance and I love steelhead and brown trout fishing. That's like right there with whitetails.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, I really want. My buddy got me into fishing kind of a little years ago, and caught me my first pike.
Nice.
And the thing was, so I was reeling it in, and the motherfucker, I don't know what it was, but he said, like, if the tip of your rod and the string, the fishing line, he said, don't ever get like that close. You gotta have like slack in there because it can really fuck up your stuff. And I accidentally brought the bait, like the what's the name of it? I'm drawing a blank. The spinning rod reel, the lure. Thank you, John. Jeez, everyone looking at me like I'm an idiot. The lure up to the tip of the fishing rod, and he got mad at me for that. So it was just a little sad. Second question here is, what wild game animal is on your bucket list to hunt?
Oh man, probably a brown bear with my bow and arrow. That's the one animal that I want to hunt with my bow more than anything. It's
like a Kodiak.
Pardon me?
Like a Kodiak?
Yeah, yep. I'm saving my pennies. I don't know when I'll have the piggy bank saved up enough, but I started one day.
Nah, don't put any money in the piggy bank. Just put it in the lottery, and there you go.
Right. Probably better odds, I guess. Yeah, for me.
What wild game animal is that you want to try to eat?
Now this is all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere.
Like, for instance, John wants to try elephant neck. I mean, a giraffe.
Giraffe.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've had wildebeest. I've had all sorts of stuff, but a giraffe neck roast, man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd probably be some sort of African game, I guess. That's maybe a Cape buffalo, because it'd be like some badass Wagyu beef or something. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. The back strap as long as a semi.
Yeah, exactly.
Justin here says a possum. I don't know if I can eat one of those things.
Yeah.
If my life was on the line, I guess maybe. What has been your favorite state you've hunted, and why?
Oh man. So it's really a toss up for me between Iowa, just because of the quality of deer, and North Dakota, just because you're just kind of out there and there's nobody around, just the experience. As far as whitetails, that's really the only out-of-state hunting I've done is for whitetails. So even though Iowa has bigger deer, I think North Dakota is probably my favorite place.
There's some big deer there too, though.
Yeah. We
got some big bucks.
They do. They certainly do.
Justin, PA was my favorite. Just the memories with family. That's awesome, man. Yeah, Pennsylvania. There's something about that. I want to get out there too.
Yeah.
Let me see here. What is the top state you want to hunt next?
I think I'd really like to do like a far western hunt, like Montana or something of the sort. I've never been further west than North Dakota or Kansas, I suppose. So I'm due to go see the mountains one of these days.
I mentioned it on here. So when my dad was graduating college from law enforcement, and that's the reason why I got into law enforcement personally, he almost had a job between 3 different places: Washington, like Spokane, Washington, Arizona, I can't remember the name of the city, and then Cincinnati, Ohio. I said, why did you have, what was about these other places that you wanted to go? And I asked, he said, well, Arizona and Washington because of the mountains, and Cincinnati because they had great pay, I think. And then he ended up staying local. And yeah, I just wish, kind of part of me wish he took the mountains because I love the mountains. I have tattoos of mountains on me. So yeah.
I've never really seen them. We went to North Carolina, but I don't think those mountains really qualify as like the Rockies or something. That would be really cool.
North Carolina, I don't know what it is, but when I had Cody Triplett on the show, he told me some horrifying stories that happened in those mountains. I don't know if I ever want to hunt North Carolina.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. You have to go listen to his episode. I think it was like 98, 99 or something like that. Go check out episode with Cody Triplett covering North Carolina. And about an hour into it, where he starts telling these stories about him and these like weird ghosts, and he felt like,
oh boy,
he said that he could hear like things running right at him, and he'd look back and they just stop. And I said, "Are these real?" And he goes, "Why would I lie?" And I'm like, "Good point." I'm like, I don't ever want to go hunt North Carolina after hearing those stories.
Pumpkinhead might be there.
Shut the fuck up, Pumpkinhead. Okay, don't you ever say Pumpkinhead ever again on this show.
Yeah. Or Jeepers Creepers.
I hate you.
You know what's crazy about that movie, Jeepers Creepers? That dude, the monster on Jeepers Creepers, had to legally register that vehicle and get a vanity plate. How the hell did he do that?
Well, hey, you want to know something else more creepy about Jeepers Creepers? You know about the movie, right, Matt?
Yeah.
Hang on. Matt, do you know about the movie Jeepers Creepers?
I know the name. That's about it.
I'm not a movie guy. It's a horror movie basically about this creature that comes, John, every 30 years to harvest new organs and stuff. The original movie, at the very start of it, where you see this brother and sister driving down the road, they see this weird person throwing bodies down this like tube like thing by a church. That's the start of the movie. Come to find out, and John can quote me on the city. I know he knows this.
Based on a true story.
It's based on that part of the movie. The whole movie is based off of this true event that happened here in Michigan. It happened out of Battle Creek. Some couple or something was driving down the road, and they saw this person dumping white bodies, like white silhouettes of bodies covered in bed sheets down a tube. That's a true thing. That happened back in that happened back in the 60s or 70s or something like that.
Yeah, he killed his wife. And chopped her up and threw her down there.
True story, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, Justin. They said that's based on a true story. It's weird it happened on Michigan. Everything happens in Michigan. I don't know why.
Everything but the big bucks.
Yeah.
All right. Get back to the real questions here. If you could pick anybody to go on a hunting trip or share a campfire with one time, who would that be?
I'd have to go with Fred Bear for sure.
Oh, good one. You're the first person that actually said Fred Bear.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you're actually the first one.
I said Ted.
Yeah, he said Ted. Next question here is, if you could bring one loved one that passed away to go on a hunting trip with or share a campfire with one time, who would that be?
Probably my grandpa. My dad's dad there. I think he died when I was 9 years old, so I never got to hunt with my grandpa. So that would be kind of cool.
Oh wow, yeah.
I haven't said this on a show yet, but personally, if someone was asking me that question, my grandpa's actually in the phases of passing away right now, and he's the one that emotional right now. Taught me fishing, and I never got into fishing as much, but he was a big fisherman type of guy, and I wish I got more into fishing, spent more time with him after high school or during high school. But yeah, that would be mine. How do you think we can get more people involved in hunting?
Oh, I think it's got to come back to the schools likely. I I think it's definitely becoming the cool thing to do. I mean, there's a lot of social media influencers and stuff like that are making it the cool thing. I mean, you got like Chris B and stuff like that are kind of the younger generation trying to get people involved through what they're doing. But I mean, really, I think it comes back to the root. A lot of young kids, if their family aren't into it, if they don't have a mom or dad teaching them how to do it, they don't know where to start. So I think you need to start it at the school level, get more archery in the schools, stuff like that.
Yeah, we had that back in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
But I was in a redneck school too, so that was just a given. Opening day of gun season, school was canceled.
They're closed, huh?
Nobody showed up. Yeah.
Yeah. That is the one cool thing about Michigan. We back to talking about that a little bit. We kind of dog on Michigan for not having big bucks and whatnot, but I don't think there's another state out there, maybe Pennsylvania, that has the traditions and the camaraderie that Michigan does around hunting. I mean, I
agree.
You can walk through a grocery store and start talking to somebody about hunting anywhere you go, any town. Like everybody does it. So
yeah.
And what's nice about Michigan is we always talk about people bashing people on the internet or social media, and the majority of those people are non-hunters or other hunters that are just like ignorant. But when it comes to like us three, John, David, and Squatch, we dog on each other, but at the end of the day, we're like, "Fuck yeah, great job!" We make fun of each other. I'm like, "Oh, you didn't get a deer yet? Oh, maybe you should get out of bed and stop making pancakes." Or like it's the fun camaraderie that we make out of hunting, and that's the best part about it.
But we're the only ones allowed to do it to each other.
Exactly.
Anybody else did it, you probably wouldn't hear from them anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we're tight like that. It's kind of hard to explain.
Justin here talking about my grandparents. They are the big reasons we do this stuff, and he's right. I have 2 kids now myself, and it was a responsibility with my dad teaching me hunting, or at least teaching me the outdoors and stuff like that. Now it's my responsibility to at least bring it to their attention of hunting and the outdoors. And if they don't get into hunting and fishing, at least I brought it to them, and now that's on them. And I hope they carry the tradition of hunting.
Yeah. Yep. And they'll come back to it even if they don't want it right away.
Exactly. And it's one thing, you don't want to pressure them to do it.
No,
you just want to at least show them, hey, this is what the opportunity it has, and it's actually a lot of fun.
And that's kind of how it's worked with my son that's in the Marines right now, that's getting ready to be done. He went on the youth hunt, got a doe opening day of youth hunt, and it just kind of turned him off. He wasn't excited about killing something.
Mm-hmm.
And then now he's older, and I never brought it up again.
He's in the Marines too, though.
Yeah. You want to go? You want to go hunting? We'll you just tell me when you want to go. And now when he's getting out, he's actually excited. He wants to start hunting again.
Is he going to be a real man and use a bow, or be like a sissy like you and use a gun?
I have a bow. I have a bunch of bows. But
he's a Marine. I can't really give him 2 shit, so I'm sorry for that. Yeah. I'm going to give him shit.
But no, I'm probably going to hook him up with a bow. And then he's got a couple guns himself, but I'm just going to let him choose what he wants to do. You want a bow hunt? We can hook you up. We'll get you some XOP gear. And you can be running gun and mobile and bow hunt. And if you don't, we'll get you some XOP gear and you can hunt out of a stand,
Bam, bam.
Yeah, just let him do what he wants. And now, like my 17-year-old, he's a diehard. He from the first day that I took him in the woods with me, and he brought his BB gun, thinking he was going to kill a deer, but
my daughter's
shooting at deer with a BB gun.
Hey, Dave, you'll like this one right here.
Okay.
Justin, he comments, he's a Marine. He could use his hands.
Yeah.
They'd be too busy eating crayons.
Yeah, he's too busy eating crayons, though. If he takes a second to put those down. Justin was to say XOP is good stuff.
It is.
Last question here, Matt. What do you think we as fellow hunters could or should do to improve the hunting community as a whole?
Man, probably just quit bitching at the way each other hunts, and just rather than fighting each other on our style of hunting, we just need to unite and, fight against the anti-hunters, the people trying to take our rights from us, trying to take our gun rights, anything, and that's so my fiance this year in North Dakota, we took her out there. North Dakota is a state that on private land you can hunt over a bait pile, and she had never killed a buck before. We set out a nice big corn pile, and after 7 days of hunting, actually all of 2023, she hunted over a corn pile in North Dakota, never had an opportunity at deer. So we went back in 2024, and after several days of hunting, finally had a buck come in, killed her first buck on a corn pile. Videos on YouTube, you can watch it. But the amount of hate that we got from other hunters for killing that deer off a corn pile was disgusting. Like grown-ass men talking shit about this girl for killing her first buck on a corn pile. It's like,
and what's the difference?
That is like the wrong battle,
Yeah.
It's no different from hunting over somebody's food plot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in my opinion, they're still putting that there as food for the deer so they can hunt it. It's bait. No matter how you look at it, it's still bait.
Yep.
It may be legal bait, but it's still bait.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're in North Dakota is a very different state too. Like there's very few trees. We're literally sitting in an 800-acre field of corn, hunting over 2 bags of corn on the ground. Like it's not that easy, I promise. But,
yeah,
I don't know. People, that would be my answer. Is just we need to be more united as hunters, bow hunters, crossbow hunters, gun hunters, all of us together, and quit fighting each other and fight the people trying to take our rights from us.
Yeah,
exactly.
We got a lot of enemies in common. And each other can't be one of them.
Exactly.
Speaking of enemies, Flares of the Forest, they're just
oh gosh,
oh man, so, what's up, Nelson?
What's up, Nelson? Just hop on now. I don't know if we need to work with you anymore. This is bullshit.
You had that outdoor show this weekend, man.
Just kidding, Flare. Hey, John.
Yes.
Do you have a hunt, friend, or kill?
I do.
We're just gonna do the one for Matt.
All right, Matt. So here's 3 animals. You have to hunt one, befriend one, and you have to fight one. Okay. All right. So you have a grizzly bear, a gorilla, and a Cape buffalo.
All right. And what were the options again? I have to fight one.
You have to fight one, hunt one, and then befriend one. So one of them's going to be your buddy.
All right. Well, I'm taking the grizzly bear as my buddy, that's for sure. And we're gonna hunt down the Cape buffalo.
You're gonna fight a gorilla?
Yep, I'm going for the gorilla.
Shit.
Yep.
Nice.
What were they again? So what were they?
A grizzly, a gorilla, and a Cape buffalo.
That's a tough one. Those are good answers, Matt. Not gonna lie, that's a tough answer. See, Matt, you get some awesome creatures. When he asks me these questions, I get, you want to do it with a chippy or a squirrel or a bird?
Yeah. Gerbil.
Like, fuck you.
But there's always
Give me something real.
Yeah, he gets like gerbils and turtles.
You're the host, man. So I gotta make it a little difficult for you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I love it so much. Matt, thank you so much for coming on the show. We've had a blast. For anyone that wants to reach out to you, follow your journey, get some of your products, how can they do that, man?
Yeah, well, thanks so much, guys, for having me on. I really appreciate it, and it was a good time chatting. But you can find us at rekbroadheads.com. That's spelled REK. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, rek_broadheads. And we're still on TikTok because it's still a thing. REK Broadheads.
I don't have TikTok, but my wife literally had 3 seizures when she found out it crashed and went down. And I was like, oh, I didn't know.
Papa Don brought it back.
Yeah.
David, how can people reach out to you, man?
You can follow me on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram on PSE Mobile Hunter.
Johnny?
And I am on Instagram at Johnny_Nitro_Night. And that's my only location right now.
Yeah, I tried looking up your YouTube and it was like blocked or something.
I just don't have one.
because you're not special.
No.
Flavors of the Forest, real quick. They said, I won the Ducks Unlimited raffle today at the outdoor show. So cool.
Oh,
yeah.
mackerel.
Fucking awesome, man.
I'll give you my address, Nelson. You can
Yeah.
Yeah,
send
I'm
it all
going
to
out
me.
there in a couple of weeks, so
Yeah,
I'll be
John
out
used
there.
to go out there and see them in Oregon. And
Yeah.
was it Nelson? Yeah, Nelson sent me a picture of the Matthew Knight Arena. And I just wanted to go out there and just give him the biggest freaking hug. And I'm so jealous they get to be out in Oregon.
I did want to ask you one thing, Matt. Do you guys do tours of the factory?
Not really. So we
No?
actually we're basically working out of a offsite pole barn is what it is, and we have a few manual machines in there. That's where we do the assembly. So everything is actually manufactured up in northern Michigan in Mayo.
Oh, in Mayo? Okay.
Yep, right off the banks of the Saddle River there. So that's where everything's made. It's shipped down to us. We put it together. But we are working on as we continue to grow and stuff. We the goal here is to open a spot right in town in Frankenmuth, have a storefront, potentially even open a bow shop, and have everybody be able to come in whenever. So that's kind of the direction we're heading. But we're
That'd be
one
cool.
step at a time.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Flares of the Forest. We are working on something cool, Brett. We will get you out here for an adventure soon. I can't wait. I'm planning something out there, and I'm not just going to plan it here for soon. I'm planning it for the fall, where I do some hunting with them, and then we go to an Oregon football game, and we're just going to high five and drink beers and eat Flavors of the Forest fucking shit all night long. And John's going to come too. We're all going to come out there to Oregon. Fuck it.
Oh, I'm going out there again.
Anyways, thank you guys so much. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we're going to wrap it up for tonight, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Well, everyone, that's going to conclude another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. For myself and everyone from the team, we want to say thank you so much for tuning in for tonight's show. It's been a blast. Now, if you want to be a guest on our next live show, or you want myself, anyone from the team, or you want the entire team from Whitetail Advantage to be a guest on your next show, head to our website, www.whitetailadvantage.com, and submit your request through there. Now, we have an open door policy. Everyone's allowed to be on the show. Now, if this show made you think, made you laugh, and give you some new perspective on life, please hit that like and subscribe button. We'd be greatly appreciated. If you have a Carbon TV account, find us on there. And if you can give us a positive review, that'd be greatly appreciated as well. You can also find us at Waypoint TV. Now, our audio versions of our podcast gets released on Mondays and Wednesdays at 5 a.m. Eastern time, following our live shows from Sundays and Tuesdays that we do at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube page. Now, last thing here. Don't forget, no excuses, just results. Put that cord in the slot machine. We'll see everyone next time. See you guys.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.